CJ Stroud, Texans minicamp. Apparently he's shining. That's the word that I saw. CJ Stroud shines at minicamp. He has gotten rave reviews. Noah Brown said maybe he could even be better than Dak Prescott. That seems a little strong from Noah in just his first couple practices with CJ. But
maybe he could be.
I mean, he could be, yeah. Dak right now, we've had a lot of issues with Dak fans on this show over the past few days following the Kirk Cousins reel. I don't dislike Dak Prescott. I think Dak's a very good quarterback. He was number 10 on my list. It went Kirk 9, Dak 10. But everyone seems to take issue with me saying Kirk's a little bit better. Literally one spot better. Dak had a bad year he didn't have a great season last year. Very good a couple of years before that. So, look, no issue with Dak. Noah Brown thinks CJ could be as good, if not better. Yeah, I wanted to get that off my chest. I have nothing against Dak Prescott. Case Keenum said, I would have thought that CJ would have been here a year, been in the league maybe 4 or 5 years as a vet. DeMeco Ryans says he doesn't make the same mistake twice. Was very impressed with him throwing a pick, coming back, 2-minute drill touchdown to end one of their practices. The starting quarterback battle between him and Davis Mills, it's there, but in all likelihood, we know that CJ Stroud will be starting week 1. But everything coming out is that he's been pretty accurate throughout all of the spring. Not too many issues there. Again, we talked about this a few weeks ago. The best CJ Stroud we saw was against Georgia in the playoff game last year when they opened things up for him and let him get on the run a little bit more, where Ryan Day was less conservative. If you see that CJ Stroud, that attacker, I'm very happy as a Texans fan.
This is one thing I actually wonder when you're talking about NFL vets getting excited about a rookie quarterback. How much of it is level of play versus how much of it is charisma? Right? Because if there's one thing you know about CJ Stroud, so he's a pretty charismatic guy, right? People loved him in Ohio State. In the pre-draft process, it seems like he gave the right answer to every question. Like, if a guy comes in, he's a dynamic leader. He's funny. He owns up to his mistakes. He's a cool guy to be around. I'm probably going to be more excited about him than I am about a quarterback who, is a little more introverted, who's a little more cerebral, who's just trying to sort of do his thing. So I get a little bit worried when some of these veterans go in, and, this applies to everything that's been said, right? When it's just like, yeah, this is my guy. I'm ride or die with him. I think he has a chance to be great. I mean, sure, everyone's got a chance to be great till they start taking snaps, right? But I don't know. CJ Stroud, there are some things I worry about with him. It's going to be tough to know until a little bit more time progresses. But again, just like the Panthers, at least you've got a guy in the room who's a leader, who the team can unify around, who at least the start of the season they're going to be ready to play for. Because people are not ready to play for Case Keenum. People are not ready to play for Davis Mills. Because they're just not that guy.
Well, you're also right, too. All 3 of the rookies this year are very good leaders. They're very humble guys. They're very respected from Florida, Alabama, and Ohio State. So maybe that does impact a little bit of what we're seeing. How come their teammates are just so... giving so much praise to them at the moment. Could be part of the reason. It's just that they're all good dudes. You're not seeing anyone come in there saying I'm the best. There's no. I think everyone liked Johnny Manziel and like Baker, but those guys have a little bit more attitude to them, I guess you could say. I believe Brian Burns was saying a humble swagger for Bryce Young. So those guys, they all just seem like cool, fun dudes to be around. So maybe you are seeing that. With CJ Stroud specifically, his situation in Houston, I'm not confident that the Texans are going to have a good year at all. I think that's a bigger roster issue surrounding them. Not a lot of talent on the outside. Robert Woods is your number 1. Then you have Nico Collins. There's not that. Even Michael Pittman's Jonathan Taylor, really nice out in Indianapolis. In Carolina, I'm not a huge fan of Thielen and Chark and Miles Sanders, but it's probably still a little bit better than what Stroud's working with. So I don't see success coming immediately for CJ down in Houston, but I do think that DeMeco Ryans, from everything you hear, is a very good coach, very respected. If they're able to build a roster over the next few seasons, CJ Stroud, it would not surprise me if he turned into the best quarterback out of this class. But
it'd shock me.
I think it'll be Bryce Young, but it wouldn't stun me. I think CJ Stroud is very, very good.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've said it a few times on the show.
Shut up.
I've said it a few times on the show. I'll say it again. The Texans, they haven't had a coherent game plan since Deshaun Watson basically sat out a year. The Panthers haven't had a coherent game plan in a while. The Colts haven't had a coherent game plan since before Andrew Luck retired. I mean, these teams have been adrift for a while. The number one thing your rookie quarterback is getting you is a plan and hope for the future. So at least fans can look forward to that. Again, as I said, it's highly likely at least one of these guys is going to be terrible. There's no way to know exactly who it'll be yet. I mean, it's just true, right? When was the last time we had the first three quarterbacks of a class drafted early all turn out great? Right? People raved about that 2020 draft class. People raved about the 2021 draft class. I guess you're looking at like Burrow to Herbert. But other than that,
worked out pretty well.
There's been a bust pretty high in all of these great quarterback classes.